Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. When I was growing up, so many years ago, they were trumpeting all the wonderful advantages that the information age would offer us. They're saying you're going to have an encyclopedia at your fingertips. Anything you need, any information that you want, it's going to be there. Well, congratulations, the pundits actually got it right one time. I'm not going to try to evaluate their effectiveness aside from this. And it's true. We have all the information that we want. It's a wonderful development for the human species. And it's something that we need to make more available. Projects like Starlink, if they bring the technology down to a point where people can afford it, would be fantastic. That being said, having anything you want to know at your fingertips has proven to be quite detrimental. One of the problems we have is the quality of said information that we are looking at. I chafe almost every day because when I'm reading the New York Times or Financial Post or someone who's supposed to be a quote major end quote source, almost everyone has either a grammatical problem or a spelling problem. Now, these are major newspapers with editors and everything that have to approve things, but they get it wrong. Little things. An editor, that is your job, to go through and edit something to make sure it is correct. And there's a lot more sources out there besides reputable ones. Wikipedia gets slammed constantly. Oh, that's not a real source. And I give Wikipedia credit. Compared to where it came from, it's gotten a lot better. They actually try to get you to quote sources. They'll lock down certain articles that are prone to be vandalized, like Freemasonry. They've locked it down. You have to be authorized in order to go in and edit anything. So we are getting a lot of positive stuff. On the other hand, we get some patently ridiculous things. Urine therapy. My goodness, where do I even start on this? People are trying to claim that distilled urine is good for you. Well, as I am not a survivalist, not a prepper, but just somebody who keeps an eye on things, I happen to watch Bear Grylls and Survivor Man. And Bear Grylls, filling his container with his own urine and drinking it, went very poorly for him. Survivor Man building a makeshift solar still and evaporating it into something that he could drink, that was the proper way to do it. Notice that neither one fermented it. Ferment means you leave it outside, let the bacteria do their work, just like brewing a bottle of beer or a bottle of wine. Those are fermented. You let the stuff do its job. Well, your urine is a waste product of your body. Your body is saying, we don't need this, we need to get rid of it. But some people are applying this to tumors. Some people are applying it to eyes. Some people are literally drinking this stuff and saying, oh, yeah, these side effects are better for me. And I feel a bit bad for these people because, honestly, there are billions of people suffering. And the treatments that are available are expensive. So out of desperation, they turn to anything. And when they're told, oh, yeah, you're feeling really lousy because that's part of the detox. No, you're feeling lousy because you're dehydrating your body further. And I'd like to say urine therapy is the only one on the market, but no. There are some natural remedies I don't have a problem with. Let's pick on box flower remedies. I understand the reason that the mechanism works. First of all, it's made with brandy. So essentially you're giving yourself an eyedropper full of brandy, and if you're feeling upset or something, yeah, that's going to chill you out a little bit. The flowers and the herbals and all that other stuff probably do have some sort of micro effect on you, but you probably have to drink like a liter of the stuff for them to have any sort of efficacy. Mind you, again, the problem we have is people are desperate. And that's the problem that we have in the modern world. This is why conspiracy theories have become more popular. People feel so powerless in their life. They look at something like the JFK assassination, which undeniably is a conspiracy. Perpetuated by who? We don't know. Probably more than one person. But it's undeniably there. The US government was able to hide the F-117 Nighthawk for 5 years before they admitted they had it. Russia still hasn't declassified everything about Chernobyl. And it wasn't even them, it was the Soviet Union. So they'd be able to say, hey, it was their fault, not ours. But nope, they keep an iron lid on that. Conspiracies do exist. But then you get people who really buy into it. Now, just to be clear, I consider myself a neutral conspiracist. There are certain conspiracy theories that are pretty obvious. Something fishy happened on 9/11. We're not being told the whole history. Yes, and I have opinions on that, but I'm keeping them to myself because I'd like to do a crossover episode with a friend of mine who has done a lot more research. At the same token, I'm not going to turn around and say, oh yeah, it was these groups this time, blah, blah, blah. No. We know something happened. That's what we need to know. Area 51. Something is being hidden from us. Just like the F-117 jets were hidden in Area 51 for a long time. They're still hiding something from us. Imagine what cool technology they have. It's not going to be UFOs. It's not going to be reverse engineered aliens that they've got alien corpses from dissecting them. No, that's not going to be it. But they have something really cool down there that they don't want us to know about. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so blocked off and secretive. But this leads people to start seeing conspiracies everywhere. My local government, today, I was watching them go pick up the garbage. And it's a garden waste day, along with recycling. Well, the driver who was picking up the garden waste knocked one of the green bins over. And he casually put it into the recycling bin beside it. Now, at first I was pretty annoyed with this. But then, knowing what I do about garden waste, the city doesn't really do much with it anyways. It's all going to basically the same spot. So is it a conspiracy to hide to us that nothing happens with the garden recycling? No. It's just simply one driver knows it goes to the same depot, it's going to get sorted out, and he was taking a shortcut. That's one example where I could have gotten right up over the bend on. But there's a much easier explanation. Personal laziness. You have these people, you have these websites that will convince you everything relates back to some event that's maybe 1,000 years in the past. For those of you that remember me when I tried to relate World War II to the Vikings? That was mostly a joke. I don't really believe the Vikings directly caused World War II, but I could drive the parallels all that way back. And I could do it even more if I wanted to. And I'm sure some people are pointing at that and saying, look at this evidence. It's not evidence. It's a bunch of connected stories that I'm driving the connections between. The people are separated by hundreds of years and different political factions and families and all sorts of things. It doesn't make any difference in reality. Nobody in Germany in 1939 was saying, we need to get revenge on not the Golden Horde. I can't remember who the Vikings were in Moscow at the present time, but they were there. Nobody in Germany was saying that. They were pissed off about the Soviets. But in having access to all this stuff and being able to look at photos, we're all guilty of pareidoia. And pareidoia is when you see something that isn't really there. You know, it's a nice cloudy day we have today as compared to the snowfall yesterday. I'm looking at some clouds as I'm recording this. And yeah, I can make all sorts of shapes out of them. I have a vivid imagination. Heck, that one looks a little bit like Africa, but then it has a tail. So that's what we have to be aware of. People are beautiful connection computers. And it's a survival instinct that's deep within us. We see something, we want to make a connection. We are desperate, whether due to suffering, whether due to pain, or whether due to the fact that the society that we believe in has somehow failed us. And we cling to anything that seems to bring meaning to our lives. Maybe there are gay frogs, but I know rats will indulge in gay behavior, so why not frogs? What difference does it make? Maybe there is some international worldwide conspiracy, but it's easy to point to it. It's the World Monetary Fund. They publish their results. It's not a secret. It's right out there for you to get a hold of. But if I selectively quote from their pamphlets, I can put together one of the best conspiracy theories you've ever heard about. Conspiracies are just a symptom of the lack of personal meaning in the world. At one point, you would have believed almost anything that your local religious official told you. That's why there are sermons. That's why there are confessions. Not every religion don't do those, but the same token, seeking spiritual advice used to be one of the things people had. And now they have BBSs and forums and boards where they can go and share their opinions. These things can be toxic. Stormfront, for example. They can be chaotic. F2BBS, for example. Or they can just be a bunch of guys that are getting together to talk about their various hobbies. Whether it be volleyball, whether it be collecting whatever the heck you want it to be. And other people look at it and it's like a code language. They can make all sorts of things up because they don't know the context. Oh, look at these people. They're talking about the value of whatever this is. Well, I don't know what that is, so these guys are obviously in the upper echelon. And meanwhile, it's a minor hobby train part that it's hard to get because Japan only made them in 1986 and then they were discontinued. And those hobbyists are really into it, but you can really read a lot into what you see. And the fact that anybody can open a website and publish any sort of nonsense, I mean, don't worry about the dark web. On the regular web, there are slander sites where it's literally one person. Let's say I'm pissed off at my neighbor. So I get myself a website and I put down, my neighbor plays their music all night. They don't look after their kids. I'm worried for my safety, and also they're ugly. This does not describe my neighbors, by the way. I have beautiful neighbors. Except one, but that doesn't describe them anyway. But that's... So many people have access to the internet, and so many people have no idea of how to qualitatively assess the information they've come across. It's like the old thing, do vaccines cause autism? Well, if you check Google, or Start Page or the search engine of your choice, there's like 3 studies that say yes and 1,500 that say no. Because the autistic community, and I'm going to call them that, would love to isolate a single factor like that and say, if we eliminate this, we eliminate autism. Trust me, the big, wealthy people who have money sunk into this, they're using the same vaccines. They're sitting under the same, what do you call it? Those chemtrails. They're sitting under the same chemtrails. For the most part, they're eating the exact same food we are. So poisoning us also poisons them. Yes, they have money to have their own private farms and stuff. But I mean, look at the 45th president of the United States, who was perfectly happy to eat regular pizza and regular hamburgers. Now, for his age, he's getting up there. He's pretty darn healthy looking. So if he's eating the same stuff we are, And I know he likes Big Macs. Hell, Gordon Ramsay likes Big Macs. But that shows they wouldn't contaminate their own food. It wouldn't make sense for them. Elon Musk is not sitting there and saying, oh no, I can't have a burrito from Taco Bell because I know the poison in it. No, he's either saying that he's vegetarian or he's saying, I don't like Taco Bell, let's go to Burrito Boys instead, or whatever his choices are. No matter how wealthy the wealthy are, they still ultimately wind up breathing the same air and eating the same stuff that we do. We have to look for the real elements of conspiracy. Like I said, the whole 2030 plan, which I really need to do a deep dive into one of these days, but it's a lot of reading. I like reading, but a lot of this is dry. And a lot of it is nothing that they're not telling us already. So anyways, do your research. Don't just accept claims. And remember, I understand we're desperate. Almost everybody is suffering. It's a painful world out there. But the important thing is, use the most important part that you can get from the internet. That's your wetware. That's right. There's hardware, there's software, and wetware. Wetware is what you put in your brain. So if you come across this brand new miracle cure, and your doctor's never heard about it, chances are there's a reason. I look at the sides and half of them say this has not been proven to, diagnose or cure anything. It has that little thing on the side, and there's a reason. Like I said, cancer patients are desperate, legitimately. And I feel bad for them. And I wish there was some miracle cure out there that would help the cancer patients, that would help autistic people, that would help everybody. And it's easy to kind of give in to that desperation. And online, where everything is unvetted, and you can find sources to back up anything you want. But use your wetware. Use your intelligence. If it is that simple to drink your own urine, then why the heck haven't doctors been doing that instead of, going into expensive chemicals and drugs and all the other crazy things they do to keep us the way that we are? Watch for patterns. That's natural. That's human. That's a survivalist thing to do. But also realize pareidoia exists. Sometimes those patterns are just an illusion. With that, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Silverlight Show. If you did, please hit like, share, subscribe. If you want to support the show, buy a book down in the comments. It's all linked. And we hope you have a fantastic day.